I won't have no hair on my head and it'll all go to the crack of Well, I think we're going to do it again. I had fun on the Jackson guitar build. But what I have in this case here is actually one of my oldest guitars. This is one of the RG series from Ibanez. I purchased this in '98 for about 300 bucks at Guitar Center. This guitar was actually pretty much been through it all. So I decided at one point, well, it's time to actually refinish it. This guitar had all kinds of battle damage, chips in the body and that kind of stuff. This neck isn't even original. The original neck broke at the headstock. It just barely tipped over and snapped. So I replaced the neck, and then the body kind of got more and more beat up. I did start some work on it about a little over 5 years ago. That was an original chip that was bonded by me. You know, down over here, back around here. Usually the horns took the most damage. As far as I got was sanding down the original paint, which dumbfounded me is when I finally got the color gone. It looks like they put almost like a resin coat before it actually hits wood, which was pretty weird. And because of that, I thought this body was kind of toast because there was a crack there. I kind of filled in and I thought like maybe the whole wood was cracked, but more down I got into it, it's like, man, it's mostly just probably the resin coat that actually cracked. So, well, since the Jackson build went kind of so well, I thought about taking this thing that I've had forever, that's just been milking it in a case with all its pieces I've had before. And look, I even have an old EMG in here, which never was in it. I just somehow came across that one, and an EMG 85, which what I think I'm going to do is, because I had parts left over from the Jackson build as far as the EMGs go. This one is kind of like the same kind, the quick disconnect. Well, I noticed the 85 is not, which I don't think I'm going to use it. This was the wiring that was with it. The blade switch I had with it is gone. I believe it is. I don't see it anywhere else. I don't think that is more and more parts, whatever, but I don't see the original blade switch. Yeah, what is in this thing too? It's been, this case has been, this is like a time capsule. This case has been closed forever. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's it right there. No, it's part of the jack. That's not it. It's in this one. Let's see. More connectors. No, that's not it. Hey, I was wondering what happened to you. Okay. Well, no. Look, so looks like I'll be getting a new blade switch. This one's not it. Either this was the one that came with this EMG set that I got, but I'm not going to use any of that. Just by looking at that, I think I'm just going to go get the actual wiring kit. Because I noticed when we did the Kirk Hammond pickups in the Jackson V, that was a whole kit by itself, pickups, wiring, and everything. But they do sell, I saw it on Amazon, just the wiring kit itself, but it comes with the pots, the knobs and stuff still. So I'm going to end up having a collection of those. This EMG seems to be in pretty good condition. So what I think I'll do is I'll get the wiring kit. I'll get one more 81. Even though this is an 85, but I just really don't understand this crap. I can't even look for a wiring diagram for an old 85 on how to make it work. I don't think I can find one. So I will deal with this one, put this one in, get another pickup, and just like before, we'll get a battery box, probably put it somewhere back here. This is a Floyd Rose system. Looks like I'm going to have to find some new foam for this stuff. I can tell I tried to save it, but I think just find a little piece of sticky foam and replace that. Go ahead, we'll repaint the body, something. This time, probably do like a deep transparent blue. That's kind of like been the request I've got for this one. I wanted to do something candy-like, so I think we're gonna do a deep candy blue. Ain't really much hardware I need to change. The tuning keys are fine. Other than just electronics, the bridge I'm gonna just put back in. I have all that stuff. Get the right blade switch for this. And the covers I don't have to make. There is no neck dive on this one. I know that for sure, so I don't have to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check out the body. If I need to do any additional prep to it, I will. And I think because of the fine little cracks and whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and load up some of the epoxy paint that I have that I used on my desktop. So give this a little bit of hardness, kind of fill in and stuff. So I'm kind of use it as a sealer and part filler. And I think this build here is actually going to take more time than the Jackson because I don't have all the parts. The primer itself takes a whole week to cure before I can do anything else. So that's a week. If I'm going to do a candy blue, I'm going to have to put a base coat on that. Some type of silver. That's what I'm thinking, some type of metallic silver as a base. That's, I'm gonna want to full cure. Then have to find the candy coat, spray that on, let that full cure, and probably do a clear. Some candies actually have a clear into it. But until I choose which product I'm gonna use, just do full cure. You can paint over it. It's probably safer that way, especially if you have time, which I do. So this build will actually be quick just to watch because it'll be from start to finish. But for me, who knows how long it's going to take. Hell, right now I have hair on the back of my head. By then I probably won't have no hair on my head and it'll all go to the crack of my... So let's get this build started. I'm going to go mix up some primer, clean this off, get set up for that, and we'll just shoot the body, seal it up, and I'll be waiting at least a week to do the next step and a couple minutes for you guys. It's cleaned. It's taped up so I don't want to get too much paint buildup. In some places it's not too much necessary, but over here I don't want to do too much work for the neck. And make sure I haven't removed the foam yet, so I kind of want to keep that clean. I do the same thing on the back side. So now I'm gonna put some primer on it. There we go. And this is an epoxy primer too, so it's going to be a really hard primer. And I'm going to kind of build it up, even though I'm going to remove a lot of it. But I'm hoping it'll definitely deal with the cracks I had before. No matter how much I reduce this stuff, still like want to have like a spray texture. I mean, if I'm gonna sand it down, it's no big deal. But still, plus I'm using a real cheap gun for this stuff. you. Like I can see where the Bondo was. It's like the primer wants to take it differently. Load it up, but not where it's running. So go over here. You can see me. Yeah, I'm sure some of you wondering, why ain't you wearing a respirator? Well, for one, my voice will sound like... Nah, it's okay. Plus, I usually always make sure my paint's blowing into it, or it's the filter and me standing away from it, so it's air this way, fumes that way. All times, it's actually good to be close to the filter as you can. Trying to put a lot on, so that way there'll be plenty of here for me to do some surfacing. I'm treating this almost like a surfacer too, even though it's an epoxy, and this thing is harder. This stuff dries really rock hard, really good. I'd recommend this mostly on metal. For like restorations, you know, something you really want to last forever. Seal this stuff in metal, but you know, this is fine. Get in there. Got enough primer on it. There, let me show you. Yes, looks very ripply. This primer tends to do that. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of sanding. Let me kill this. Oops, wrong way. It's going to get sanded down pretty down to like almost back to what it was. This coat is really just to kind of help with the cracks that I had before in that whatever resin coat that I had. So most of this is going to disappear anyways. It's going to be a pain in the because this primer is rock hard, as John Holmes would say. If you know who John Holmes is. Okay, so this thing's got a week to cure before I could even really do anything to it. Probably then, if I have some free time, we'll get on to sanding this thing and prepping it for basically paint. But even before I even paint it, I still got to put the battery box in. I mean, this part could be done first. I still have to order the thing. But okay. Till then, I'll be back on this when I can, and we'll just roll on to the next clip, and we're on to whatever I'm going to do next.